Hi, it's Nancy, welcoming you to Garden Scroll. Today is March the 28th, and it's 3 days before Easter. So by the time you get this, Easter will be past. But I wanted to go out and show you because things are changing. We just had about 3 days of, at night it would go below freezing, and yesterday we did not have it in our area, but all around us areas were reporting that the snow was swirling and landing on the redbud trees. We did have a little bit of rain, and mixed in it was some flurries of snow, but they really didn't do much except swirl around a bit and then drop with the rest of the rain. But you can also tell how much is changing as far as these little forsythia bushes are totally losing their yellow. Get over here to this other one right here. And then also the quincy bushes are losing their color. And I went around so you could see this better, but you can tell it's lost most of its pretty bright pink or red color. And behind it there is our flowering almond, which is losing most of it. Some of it could be because of our cold weather, but I think it's just their time. They don't last this beautiful color long. But it certainly makes us appreciate it when they do bloom in the spring. Today is our first pretty day after our 3 days of winter coming back. And I've been going around fixing a few things. This was way leaned over, and of course both little birdhouses had blown off, and just I have this up here with fishing line, which is great to use. It lasts a good long time, but it does get brittle like plastic or other things you have in the garden, and they had just succumbed to some wind that we had in the winter time when we're laying on the ground. So they're back up again. I always feel better once I get the garden kind of in just a little bit better situation where I can enjoy it more. And this is tall phlox. I had a clump of it right here in this spot, which is really too close to my path. And actually these are too. I had a neighbor that stopped by and asked if I had any tall phlox, and so this I'll probably dig up and give to her, because as you probably know, it will grow back from these over here again at some point. So I'll try to get this out, and it will help me, and she will love it too. And this is where I put the little clump for myself that I took out. I want something tall here. I had in mind one of the green smoke bush, but I put one here and it died, so I didn't try it again this year. That's not to say I won't sometime, but I'll probably wait until this. We had, if you remember, we had a maple tree here. We cut that down, so there's still root here, and I'm not sure we could get anything growing in the ground right now, but when we can, I would like to try that again and have a pretty bush there that will somewhat shade these. I know it's actually in Oklahoma, it's good to have when it says full shade, when it says full sun, it's good to have a little shade, because as long as it's getting that sunlight through the leaves, that will be enough in that heat part of summer and be much better for it, give it a chance to keep going. And that doesn't necessarily go for the tall phlox, because I don't have any problem with it keeping going even in the bright sunlight. But there are lots of plants that would just prefer just a little bit of shade. Look at these. This is the perennial alyssum. It'll be bright yellow, but it's got buds, and it won't be long till it is a bright yellow, and I'll be showing that to you. This is a peony, and I just dug up a little spot of it and put it in the back. This is a white peony. I had no idea I would love it as much as I do because I simply love color. I know white is a color too. So, and it's so beautiful when it's in full bloom. And this, for my friend Dee Dee, is a peony support. This one happens to be a double. It has like the two. You can put it down farther in, up to right here in the ground if you need to, maybe even farther if you needed to, but I probably right there will be good, because then it had this much more for the peony to grow, and it kind of helps it, holds it up, gives it some support. And the creeping phlox is blooming right now. I have tried so many times to get it started all over the back side of this railroad tie so that it would just spill over, but for some reason it doesn't like this area that much, and it just keeps dying back for me. I noticed that our pastor's wife had some on her Facebook page, pictures of hers, and they were bright purple and so beautiful. And I was so busy cleaning up the garden and trying, even when we had our cold days, I finally got some time to do a few things in the house that I had left for so long. But then I was behind on groceries and supplies for the home. So, but I finally did get to go get that done yesterday, and I looked at these and I said, oh, there's some of that phlox. So I don't want to put this out there and behind the railroad ties like I really do want some there, but I do. But I don't think they'll live there, so I'm going to try them in different areas. But I said I would love to have some of this, and my husband said, I know you're going to think I'm just spoiled rotten, but honestly, he doesn't do this very often. But he said, well, he lets me do it though. But okay, back to my story. He said, well, which colors do you want? So I picked these two out, and I just watered them. I had them in the house while it was also cold, and I think these are lovely. This is a beautiful pink and white combination, and the one behind it, they're not showing up like they were before I wet them down, but I love this bright pink. And then also I said, and that's not a bad price for that hydrangea, and you wouldn't have to pay shipping and handling. And he said, okay, let's get that too. So that's what we did, and I'll have to find places. I'm not sure where I'm going to put these, but I'm anxious to get them going. This is my other hydrangea. I don't think you can even see it. Oh my goodness. But it is, this one, it looks dead, but I don't think it is. I think there's life there. I think it's going to show up a little bit later. And this is my oak leaf hydrangea, just barely budding at, or unfurling its leaves. And then right across over here is my lace cap hydrangea. Even slower to unfurl its little leaves, but I can see them on the stalk, and they look great to me. So beautiful when this blooms. It really does remind me of lace. We also went down and got some rebar to fix this little post. These little cats are on a post, and you can see how far it's leaning down, and one little good wind or just a good little tug and it's going to come down. But hopefully I can get that fixed, hopefully today. Things are definitely growing up. This is one of the peonies. This is the Sarah Bernhardt peony that my friend Alma gave me one year. It's been here for quite some time now, and we kind of do that as far as share plants. I'll give her some and she'll give me some, and she's even got me little decorative things for the garden. She's such a sweet person. Everybody that knows her knows it's true. And I was noticing earlier how cute this little rabbit looks. Not because it looks real, but because it looks real enough that your imagination can take it the rest of the way. What do you hear? The honeybees are taking full advantage of the redbud trees. I'm not sure, but chances are they're also out here on these cherry blossoms. And yesterday, when I transplanted this little peony from the front, I saw that right over here, this little clematis. This is the first time this clematis has bloomed for me. It's tiny. I didn't realize it was so tiny, but it's so sweet. Remember that this little garden gate planter had the pot that was in it had fallen down and broken, just cracked in pieces, in two pieces. But I put a new one in here. I've actually got it kind of anchored in better with some of that that styrofoam sealant. And I think that's going to actually hold better than the nails in the wood, because you know wood is like plastic in the garden. It just doesn't really last very long. So I'm hoping this will last longer, take care of it, and this little plant grows up to where you don't even notice it, which you rarely notice that anyway, because you see it more from the front, and then it'll be, the plants will grow tall enough that you won't notice it from the back side either, I don't believe. Even got it, I did go ahead and put, I was contemplating putting some different plant in here, but I did go ahead and put back the same one I had, which this one just kind of flopped down like it's doing now and was everywhere. But I did notice too that this what this is. So I think that's because it was its first time. But this sedum looks good in this pot, and I think it will eventually in this pot. It's just going to take it a little bit of time. These of course are just little clippings from the original plant, and I put them in here, and they will get their start, and hopefully they won't even hang over so much, but be more upright and hopefully look good in there. And I got my little post straighter, but I'm going to have to do a little more work on this too, because of course this is also wood, and that was what was making it lean forward, because it just you know, it got wet and it was loose. So I actually, can you tell, I put some of that foam sealant right there too. I'm going to put a little bit more in front of this, because if I don't, as I water this, it's just going to rot out the rest of my my little post. And I kind of like this, where the cat's sitting up on top of it, has the little ones climbing up. And this is some more of that sedum, like the one I put in that little window box planter over on my garden gate fence. So, and it looks good here, and then behind it there I do have another sedum too, and I believe this is the regular size sedum growing in a pot. It probably won't grow quite as big, but I think it's going to make a pretty form there. And when this all fills out, I think it's going to look good. I may end up putting some little tendrils of like Angelonia here in the front side of this. And this is more of that same type of sedum, and I'm not thinking of the name of this right now. I actually don't know if I know the name of this one, but I could look it back up. I do keep a record of what I have in the garden, but not close at hand. And this little planter, it is falling apart. I think I've already shown you, but it does have some damage to it. So I actually took the top part of this off. It's hollow inside. And I had already put some foam filler in here, but I didn't fill it all the way up to the top, so I went ahead and did that, and hopefully that will keep this one for a few more years. I've totally enjoyed these little bird bath planters. They have the little holes already made in them for drainage, and I purchased these several years ago at our local or near to us, Atwoods. And these 3 planters on the end, I did go ahead and I had some sedum in here, but this side was full, this side was empty. But I took little clippings and put them in ridding powder and just put them in over on that side. I did the same to the top little pot, and I'm hoping this will look good for the rest of the season. This one already had this in it, already had what's in the top, and I'm thinking this one will maybe even spread out, and I think I'm gonna like this. And then this one, the same thing. I just put some of these little clippings around where there wasn't any, where it'll go ahead and fill totally out is my hope. And then I put them in this top one also. Please be sure to like and to subscribe to the channel.